they have keys, which are just clients that like monitor the other ones, and kind of the leaders. And I was first key very shortly after being there, and I was definitely trying to get people organized and on the right path.
I know that's a tricky one though, because they say stay in your lane,
right?
Worry about yourself.
I know. Well, after being there, because I stayed there for 63 days. After like being there 5 days, well, it was after my second stay. My first one, I was after like 2 weeks, they made me second key, and after the third week, I was the first key. And I came back several months later, after like 5 days, first key. After about 3 weeks, I told them, no, give some responsibility to somebody else. And I go, I'm still here for you guys if you need something. I'm here to help you still, but I need to work on myself. If I keep worrying about everybody else and doing for everybody else, I'm not doing for myself, and I need some time for me to work on me, and not just like a relationship. Who
else you gonna work on? Everybody else?
That's
what you go there for, But half the time, half measures.
But I was, spending time just helping everybody else do whatever, it's just like everybody goes to you constantly all day. Plus, you're trying to keep people accountable, because it was more like
accountability.
But did someone say to you, hey, Ryan, you should kind of step off and watch this, or is that something you came up with on your own?
They said sometimes my approach to some people is a little abrasive, but I was just like sarcastic, and if they tried to gaslight or all these kind of manipulation and denial and shit, like I would eat them up and make somebody realize before they couldn't play them games with me. I would just make them feel dumb for saying dumb stuff and trying to
beat them down.
I beat them at their own game.
Right.
Because I played them games for a long time.
But did you realize it, though, on your own, that you were worrying about other people too much?
Yeah. I stepped down from the position. I said, I really just like, not worried about myself enough. And,
so if somebody
was
would
doing things all day. But no, they didn't.
If they would,
I told the counselors that it was just a cop out on their part, putting me in that position, because I would make things run smoother for them.
They don't got to work as hard.
Everybody else who might
it's a great idea.
An opportunity to grow, doesn't get the chance. So
it's passing the buck.
Yeah, that's what I told the counselor, because I was just sick of it. Sick of dealing with everybody else's crap all the time. I'm like, no.
But if they would have came to you and said, hey, Ryan, it's a good idea that you don't do that, do you think you would have bucked them and said, no, it is a good idea to do this? Like if they would have been trying to tell you what to do, or trying to tell you, hey, Ryan, this isn't good for your recovery. Why don't you not do this anymore?
It's not like it's bad for your recovery. It's just not, it wasn't maximizing my
potential
time there and working on myself. And that's what I wanted to do for the last half of my stay, was worry about me. I would, all of us constantly deflect and worry about other crap. That's why I say about the codependent relationships is, you can worry about them instead of yourself, or you can, anything to deflect worrying, working on yourself is just an excuse not to
dig deep
and do the recovering you need.
But the other problem I see with telling people, hey, this is, I've noticed that you've been not putting the toilet seat down or whatever, not doing your chores, not doing this. And, the other problem I see with that is people don't get in relationships is people have to learn on their own. Way. Yeah, the hard way. On their own.
Some people
they have to go through it.
Are ignorant to the facts of what they need to do, or people do need to be told some things.
But for me, I was told all that. I didn't listen.
Yeah.
Like Chris, when you were in treatment, when we were in there together, I could have been like, Chris, do this. You should do this, and no. But you know what? You're going to have to learn all those things on your own. And I was just hoping that you wouldn't die.
Yeah, we all made the mistakes on our own because in my recovery, in my situation, I have to learn this. I have to figure it out this way. I have to make that mistake because I can watch you guys make it. I can try to help fix you guys, but I'm going to learn my way. I'm going to figure out how to screw myself up my way. Because like I said, when I get behind the wheel of the bus, I say a lot of things a lot over and over again because it's repetition. But the thing is, it's repetition makes me think about it and it makes it stick in the head. I have to learn it. I have to leave. I have to go make this decision. But nowadays, I'm making the decision to stay far, far away from where I am, stay far from where I'm from, stay far, far away from the things that, I naturally want to gravitate to, the things that I, want to go screw up because, I screw things up when I do it my way. But now the suggestions that, eventually after learning all the mistakes and being to rehab so many times, and it's learning in a different way, figuring a new way out, the next best decision, the next best thing, because that's what's going to help you. And, we all did it our way, and that's where we got to where we were. But today, it's not so bad. As much as, we all go through it some way or the other, But right now, it's a lot better than it was for sure.
Yeah, still mess up, just not as bad.
Yeah, the mistakes, the repercussions aren't as bad. I don't end up in jail. And if I did, knock on wood, I have bond money now, I can get out. I have. I don't want to go. That's not on my future. But if I get picked up for jaywalking in a small little town for having long hair, walking through in a robe,
with a black guy.
Oh, that was awesome.
Bumping
today.
a speaker.
Yeah, going through
bumping
town.
a Bluetooth speaker.
Going through town today with Tyrone.
Oh, Jesus.
With a Bluetooth speaker, screaming Pantera, looking like the Odd Couple walking down the road in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But guess what? I'm cool with that because this guy walking next to me wants to see me do good. I want to see him do good. And this is the spot where we're at. And again, the spot where we're at is a lot better than where I was at because, just like I said, I've sent the penny down it falls. There it goes. Down again. Strike 7. Seventh inning stretch is gone. And here we go. I can't tell you how bad it was. I can, we got, yeah. But I do know that today is a much better day. I had pizza today for the first time, real pizza. That's good.
Yeah.
Get it?
Can I tell you a story about fantasy football?
Yeah.
Not if it has to do with
I was going to say,
again.
if it's got to do with something to do with Ryan, I want to hear it.
Team. We're back to reality.
No, I was talking to one of our housemates, Brandon, about this in the car the other day, and after hearing what you were saying yesterday in the meeting, Chris, which of course that stays in the meeting, but it was about your kid, your son, his birthday. So I started thinking, and I started relating it to fantasy football. Like fantasy football, like whatever I'm going to do this week, the decision's already happened. I just haven't made it yet. And am I going to pick the right receiver or the wrong receiver? I don't know. And then if I pick the right guys this week, I might not. I got to pick 2 wide receivers. Okay. So that's going to reflect on Monday if I'm going to be happy.
Or if they're both on a bye week.
If I win, I have to pick 2. So I'm making those decisions. I just haven't made them yet. And the decisions I make will determine whether I win or lose. So Monday I could be happy. I could be sad. I could be mad. It's already played out. I just don't know what it is yet. And I start thinking about that same thing. Like maybe, Chris, like you had to go through every hardship that you had to go through, every broken relationship, every time you had to go to the hospital, every time you had to go to a rehab center, you had to go and you had to leave and you had to come back and you had to leave and you had to come back. Maybe you had to go through all of that. Maybe, Chris, maybe for one day in 20 years from now, when you're talking to one of your grandkids, when you're talking to your son when he's 37 years old and he has a problem with addiction, and maybe that one thing that you say to him that day because of the stuff that you had to go through is why you had to go through everything that you had to go through. Like maybe God let you go through that. Maybe you had to go through that. And maybe he had your back in the end, not letting you die.
Right.
But isn't that crazy? Like
the extents that, for my son to You know, it's insane how the insanity. Like I said, beat your head against the wall. But the time it took me to get my stuff together, the time it took me, and like I always say, the one thing, I always tell people in meetings to open up and talk because I talk a lot. I can say a lot of things that might help people, but guess what? That over there might help me. This guy over there might help me. That woman over there might help me because the situation that I'm in today is much better, but I went through a spot to get where I am, to figure things out, to help people out, to find things out.
It helps you and it helps others, and the things you hold in are going to hold you down.
Right.
If you got all that extra baggage and you don't know how to get rid of it, or you won't let it go, won't talk about it.
I can't throw you a life ring that weighs 20 pounds,
You just
even
drag
if you
yourself
grab that
down.
one, you're a fool.
And I did that in my first rehab treatment. I didn't talk about my problems. I didn't open up about stuff. I was just like, I just got a little problem, and just a couple hard times. I'll be okay, though, I just needed a little eye-opener or something. That was, like, the extent.
It's the pride. It's the wearing the mask. Like, I don't want anybody to see.
Yeah. The mask of
humor.
humor.
Yeah, and until you get vulnerable and open up and actually let it go, just talking about it and vocalizing it and realizing it instead of trying to hide it, that's when the growing begins.
Right. It's that flower. You got to water it. You can't just let it sit in the sun and not do anything. You have to take care of it. And this recovery thing, and you need to take care of take care of yourself. Take care of the things you need to take care of. I'm still looking for the job. Being all worked up about that. But guess what? There's an opportunity that came about through emails and whatnot today, and there's a potential that tomorrow, if I get up, if I'm blessed enough to get up tomorrow,
doing the right thing.
The things that might work out, and then I have less stress on myself. But right now, things are all right. Like I say, things are good now. Oh, there you go again.
It's a new job.
Woo!
Different kind.
Wouldn't that be?
Wait.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when it comes through a phone, hopefully it's just an email, but we all know what that one was. It's probably somebody hitting me up looking for a relationship. Yeah, more than likely if it's my phone.
Money and fame,
that you're
Chris.
chomping at the bit to get into.
Yeah, well,
we
guess
warned him
what?
about it.
Yeah,
Baby, I love you.
I was warned, and then all
I
of a
don't
sudden,
even love myself, but I love you.
you know it, brother. I'm gonna tell you how I'm gonna love you terribly.
But getting honest with yourself, though, and you're the only one that knows your situation and what's going on right now. But like Ryan said, until you get that off your chest, until you can just sit there for a minute and just realize what you're in, what do you have, what you don't have
look
right
at
now.
Things.
Yeah, because I see people all the time
figure it out
and they're
what
like,
happened.
oh, well, this is me, and I had a big house, and okay, that doesn't really matter at this point because now you probably don't. And if you're not going down that road and you still have some things, hey, cool, hold on to them, but they're just things. I was talking with Andy today, and he was telling me about there was a few things or he wasn't too sure about, but he could either A, fight against it and that doesn't, or he could just, what, them's the rules, I'll just go along with it, because he realized that he's going to spend less energy just doing what was asked of him than trying to buck the system, well, that's not my way, or that's not my thing.
More time fighting
There's
it
some of
than
us that are
accepting it.
still resilient.
And he's just kind of like, okay, well, my way didn't work. And I'm humble enough now. And he's like, yeah, I used to be a snowboarder. I used to be on doing this and doing that. But
We've
today,
all probably
it's
done
not
great things,
what's
and we've
happening.
all given it away.
Yeah, and he wants a better life. He wants to have a bunch of little kids.
Little Andy's.
Oh, maybe not.
You know what
I
it
thought
is?
that's
He
what he
wants to
said.
get back
You know what
with
a
that
lady-
high school sweetheart, or
We'll have to have a Andy on.
He said,
Andy. We'll have to have
he's over there saying,
Andy
"Baby,
on.
I love you.
say hi, Andy. Say
I'm
hi.
gonna work on me though, and I'm gonna get there for you."
You want to send a shout out to you, girl?
Say
You
what's
want
up,
Tyrone to
Andy?
do it?
Yo, this is a shout out to Sherry 217.
What's up? Listen to you. You got a smile from ear to ear. I never seen that boy smile that much. Go ahead, do me a favor, and shoot me in the head real quick, because I'm thinking about a relationship.
Oh, give me a
Pow! Thank Thank you.
Nah, we'll have to have Andy on.
It's
though,
okay, Andy.
Nah, man.
No, I like Andy.
Andy's a good guy.
He just
And,
got bit by the love bug.
little sidebar here. Speaking of coin outs, my first time at the bruh, I'm getting coined out. It's Andy's first day in, and he's like, "Well, you're getting a coin. You must have done something right." That's a